Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So, I apologize for the camera quality. I don't know what it is, all of my electronics are just fucking dying on me. First it was my mic, now my camera's on the fritz. My computer was acting a little bit weird. Regardless, I apologize. So, I wanted to talk about this particular topic for multiple reasons. One of those reasons, which I want to preface the video with, is that I saw quite a variety of opinions online that made me feel some type of way. Let's just say that. So I came across this piece of information on Twitter, and I'm going to get into what actually happened, all of that. The thing is, people's reactions were 0 or 100. I didn't really see many people finding some kind of middle ground or seeing both sides, and granted, the top comments are almost always going to be the most inflammatory ones, so that's not me saying everyone feels this way. But a lot of these top comments were popular, so I can only imagine that all the people who liked it agreed with those top comments. Let's talk about it, and then I'll tell you what the comments said, where people stood. Shocking video shows NYC subway passenger putting unhinged man in deadly chokehold. Dramatic new video shows a strap hanger taking matters into his own hands, pinning down an unhinged man in a deadly incident at a Manhattan subway station this week. The 24-year-old passenger stepped in after the vagrant, identified by sources as Jordan Neely, 30, began going on an aggressive rant on a northbound F train Monday afternoon, according to police and a witness who took the video. So this man, Jordan Neely, from the comments, is a Michael Jackson impersonator that quite a few people were familiar with, so that's just a little bit of extra context. He starts to make a speech, freelance journalist Juan Alberto Vasquez said in Spanish during an interview Tuesday, referring to the disturbed man. He started screaming in an aggressive manner, Vasquez told the Post. He said he had no food, he had no drink, that he was tired and doesn't care if he goes to jail. He started screaming all these things, took off his jacket, a black jacket that he had, and threw it on the ground. That's when he said the strap hanger came up behind Neely and took him to the ground in a chokehold, keeping him there for some 15 minutes. The approximately 3.5-minute long video shot by Vasquez shows the blonde subway rider lying on the floor of the train with his arm wrapped around the man's neck. There's more, and we'll get to that. This, to me, is an overreaction. If you are in immediate danger and somebody attacks you, of course, self-defense. Duh. If you are on public transport and someone is behaving a type of way that you deem is alarming, which, to be fair, if you've ever been on public transport, that shit happens, I'm not going to say super often, but it's happened to me multiple times, and usually it's best to not engage and let people who are trained to deal with situations that might have to do with mental illness, like mental illness emergencies. I don't know what to call them other than that. Let the trained people deal with that. Approaching people doesn't always end well. Approaching people in an aggressive manner does not end well. Regardless, this person screaming, being frustrated, I don't know what their mental illnesses, mental health situation is. So if they're not attacking anyone, putting them in a chokehold, I don't get how we get to that point. Now this is where I'm going to refer to the comments, because I was looking at the comments on Twitter. Really, we had the 0 to 100. So we had people saying that people today are too coddled, and that essentially the blonde dude who put him in a chokehold was right to do so, and that people need to stop giving people with mental illnesses excuses or removing responsibility from them. So there was that side that back in my day, and then insert some really fucking traumatic thing that happened casually, I guess. On the other hand, there were people who were taking issue with the man intervening because it almost seemed to these people like an a priori was there, in the sense of this blonde man decided to intervene not because he saw a threat or not because he felt like he was in danger or anyone else was in danger. It's kind of like he had already decided that he was going to intervene in that type of way. So in a malevolent, violent way. So it was never really about the situation as much as, according to these people, this man had said, I'm gonna fucking put this guy in a chokehold, I'm gonna attack him, I'm gonna, do something. There were these two sides of blonde man was right or blonde man is evil. I personally don't really identify with either of those because I don't know what the blonde guy's intentions were. I have no fucking idea. I also don't know what exactly happened on that train. Like, we do have this witness account, sure, but how close was this person standing? Did they hear the whole conversation? Did they see the entire interaction? There's so many things I need to ask. All of this was out of fucking line. Like I said, if you see someone who you think is not mentally stable or is having some kind of breakdown, something's wrong, the majority of the time, my response is to not approach. I will defend myself if I get attacked, but otherwise, I'm not approaching. I'm leaving. I'm going to a different area of the train. I'm getting off the train. I will not stay in that situation. And I also don't feel like neither myself nor the majority of people on that train are really qualified to know what to do in that situation. So intervening seems just like it's not going to end well regardless. And aside from that, why does it have to be 0 to 100? If you do want to intervene, why did it have to be a chokehold? Did they try to talk to this man? Was there any attempt at having a civil conversation there? I don't know any of this. From how it's framed, it seems like no, but we don't know that either. So coming to a conclusion on this entire thing, I don't think is possible unless we assume a bunch of things, which I think we'd all like to avoid. I just don't know how it got to the point of a chokehold like that and it resulted in death if there wasn't immediate danger. That's the central thing of this situation, right? Was there violence? Was there self-defense where all of this escalation, I'm not going to say makes sense, but I see how it happened. Here, there's not that. So it really just seems like this guy was shouting, screaming, whatever. This guy put him in a chokehold and didn't let him go. The train was stopped with the doors opened at the Broadway Lafayette Street, Bleecker Street station, where Vasquez said the conductor had called 911. Neely, who was living on the streets and had a history of mental health issues, lost consciousness after being put in the chokehold, and EMS workers at the station were unable to revive him, police and law enforcement sources said. The strap hanger, whose sources said is a Marine veteran, was taken into custody and later released without charges. The investigation is ongoing, and authorities were waiting on autopsy results before deciding whether to pursue charges against the younger man, sources said. He declined to comment when reached by the Post Tuesday, saying, "I'm not interested in answering any questions. Thank you." Vasquez, who was on his way to Yonkers at about 2:30 p.m. on Monday, said Neely barged into the train at the 2nd Avenue station and quickly began screaming and yelling at riders, prompting many to move away. Video taken later shows the man flailing his arms and legs in an effort to free himself as the strap hanger has him in a headlock and another bystander helps to hold him down on the floor of the subway train. He moved his arms, but he couldn't express anything, Vasquez said of Neely. All he could do was move his arms. Then suddenly he just stopped moving. Vasquez recalled he was out of strength. A person can be heard in the video expressing worry about Neely's well-being off camera. The man who had been helping the strap hanger hold Neely down replies that he's not squeezing no more. The two then let Neely go after a few seconds, leaving him lying on his side on the ground. None of us who were there thought he was in danger of dying, Vasquez said. We thought he just passed out or ran out of air. Vasquez said he had mixed feelings about the fatal encounter, particularly since he said Neely had not physically attacked anyone on the train before he was taken down. I think that in one sense it's fine that citizens want to jump in and help, but I think as heroes we have to use moderation, he said. This would have never happened if the police had shown up within 5 minutes, he added. Then we'd be talking about a true hero. It's complicated. To me, this is the prime example of a situation that escalated that didn't need to escalate. You can get off the train, you can stay away, you cannot interact. All of these things were, I'd say, probably the easiest of all the options you had. So to intervene in that type of way, in my opinion, is not only out of line, but it does make me wonder a little bit, because if there's really no reason to have any type of physical contact with someone, I don't know why someone would opt for physical contact, but maybe that's just me. Anyway, you guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. I find all of this so incredibly fucked up, but more than anything, the fact that this blonde dude, there were no charges against him. I really don't know what to say. I am speechless because it seems pretty cut and dry that it wasn't self-defense, really. This, to me, is absolutely nonsensical violence. Like I said, if we were talking about self-defense, we'd be having a completely different conversation, but that's not what it was here. You guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and I'll catch you guys next time.